What a machine. Yeah. Fellas, how's it going? Today we are going to be installing coilovers on my new cheap E36 Project Drift Nug. Aren't we, Tom?
Yeah. So, bits you'll need: coilovers, short and sway bar links, sockets, breaker bar spanners, a jack, and probably a wheel to put underneath the car so it doesn't fall and crush us all.
And you also need a car to put them in.
You also need E36 too, that's pretty important. If you don't have one of those, you should get yourself one of those, unless you actually like...
Preferably one for really cheap.
Yeah, unless you like being financially responsible, in which case don't get one.
And don't watch how to install coilovers on your E36.
Go watch another video.
Yeah.
We don't want you here.
So the reason, by the way, for these is when you lower the car, if you're running the stock sway bar links, they just don't fit because the car's too low to mount up to them. So some people just choose to remove them, but fortunately my set came with some of these so I can still run my sway bar. So that's good. Obviously being an older BMW, the rear isn't like a proper coilover shock setup. It's sort of a separate spring and shock combo, which is not optimal, but this one's still alright. It's got height adjustability and everything. If you're wondering, these are Pettis coils, which are basically like the cheapest BC coilovers you can get rebranded. So they are actually pretty decent. And I managed to score these for also a screaming deal of $400.
It's pretty much the purchase price of the car, really.
Yeah. So I mean, $450, $400 value.
The extra $50 really sells it. Alright, let's get this hoe jacked up.
Yeah, so basically, if you've never put coils on a car before, it's pretty much the same process for most modern cars. It's get your parts, jack up the car, take the wheels off, undo the suspension at the top, undo it at the bottom where the arms are, and then slide it out, slide the new stuff in,
it's alright,
and reverse.
The cross member's already bent, I don't feel bad.
Ah, thanks.
It's like dented from someone else doing this already.
Okay,
like...
just don't jack it from the sump and I'm happy.
Yeah.
I do need the sump still.
Nah. It's just an excuse to pull it out. Put a turbo drain into it. Coincidentally, I already have
pull it out and put an LS into it.
Yeah, that's also an option. I like that. What's that? Oh, it's got lock nuts.
Oh.
Ass. Have you got a socket for it?
Oh, I don't think I've seen one, to be honest. Oh, maybe it's in the tool chest.
I hope so. Older 15s. Yo.
Yes. What? Always. If your car has lock nuts, first place you check if you have a BMW is that back tool chest, then glove box, and then any other storage compartment in the center console. If it's not in any of those three, you don't have it and you're screwed. From my experience, anyway.
Also, your car doesn't need lock nuts. Unless it's got $3,000 worth of wheels, it doesn't need lock nuts. These aren't 3,000, they're probably 2,500-ish worth because they're pretty nice. You don't need lock nuts, it doesn't matter. Take them off, put regular bolts in, you idiots.
I wish they were worth 2,500, that'd be cool.
Same.
I would so sell those.
We could retire.
If anyone wants to buy these for 2,500 bucks, hit me up, I'll sell them to you. You'd have to be pretty questionable of a human to do that. But Tom, can you hurry up and fit my coilovers for me?
Yeah.
Stop complaining. I don't pay you nothing to do that.
I've got spare bolts in the shed. These things are gonna go in the bin. I hate them. They are the bane of my existence, second only to cheap Taiwanese 5-tone cycling alarm.
That's oddly specific.
You know the sirens that like you always get on like any old shitty car? You know the battery comes disconnected and does like the wee woo wee woo wee, and yeah, I hate them. I've hit 2 with hammers and I won't hesitate to hit a 3rd.
Can someone please remix Tom doing that noise?
Yeah.
That'd be a sick remix.
Autology intro song. There it is.
I don't know if you guys would have noticed, but I hope you would have, but we're actually shooting from our new camera, by the way. We have a GoPro Hero 8. It's a significant step up from the GoPro Hero 3 and 4 we were using before.
Yeah, it certainly is, I'll tell you that much.
Fun fact, this camera cost more than my whole car, so...
It actually did, yeah.
Yeah. Puts it in perspective.
Yeah, also, good thing to note, get a non-functioning trolley jack, makes it really fun.
I find that adds a bit of extra flavour to the install.
Pizzazz.
Yeah, because you don't know if you're going to survive to the end. It's good.
Yeah. And then also, once you've jacked it up, you get your requisite second wheel and just like wedge it under there so you don't die.
Yeah, I mean, or use jack stands and be on a concrete surface, but we don't do things that way.
No, I do it on the lawn. I much prefer to do it on the lawn.
I'm just saying that so that the children watching don't think this is the normal way of doing it.
Adrenaline is the spice of life. You don't get more adrenaline than when you're working under a piece of shit on the lawn.
fresh. Do you mind?
Scratch the Juco.
Champ.
Alright.
Oh, there's like mold behind here. Oh, this baby spider web thing. Nice. Oh, gross. I told you this car was neglected before I bought it, guys.
Yeah. Alright, so these fellas, they got 2 bolts on the back, down the bottom of there, and they got 3 on the top of the strut. You just unplug these fellas, get them out of the road, and that's it. Literally 5 bolts. You have no excuse to make your car, or to not make your car ground scrapingly low and ruin all drivability. You have to do it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be a nerd and have a car that works and can get over speed bumps and isn't embarrassing and doesn't make noises and rattle your teeth out, like, what are you even doing with your life? I don't understand. What a strange way to be.
I think it's a 19.
You know, one of the things I hate about BMWs is the fact that they don't use studs.
Yeah.
They use those bolts. I hate that.
You know what I also really like? When you get a socket, it's not the right size.
Well, that
You
too.
get another one, it's also not the right size. So I just throw them on the ground.
This is why he's on his 3rd tool chest this week.
They know what they've done. It's to teach them a lesson.
How's that trade tool allowance going?
I turn it into the pokies.
Talk about a stimulus. Dude, I got brake ducts.
It's pretty much a touring car, really.
It actually is. Like, this is the DTM
Yeah,
car. Like, it is a DTM car.
It's going to be touring itself into the first wall at Western Sydney Wet Pan, I'll tell you that.
Not sure what's going on with the paint here. It's like a weird leaf pattern.
It's really tough.
What is that? So Tomo's gotten the brake lines out from the way by pulling them all out. He's now undoing the nuts to the lower control arms, are you?
Yes, but I've just realised something. This doesn't need the sway bar links, because for some reason, maybe it's an early versus late car thing. I've only worked on early ones previously. On this one, the sway bar goes to the control arm.
What does it go to on the early ones?
Onto the strut, which is why you get the different links.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because it changes the height like drastically. So
Cool.
I don't know.
Might not need
I
that.
think
Now this bonnet doesn't like to stay up and I don't have my wood with me.
doesn't matter because service mode.
Ah, yeah, true. I always forget about that. Service mode, by the way, is like a funky sedan thing on these cars. You can undo this bolt and then this kind of hinge thing sort of flips up and it makes the bonnet go like almost fully up. It's pretty cool. Why don't the coupes have that?
I don't know.
Because they're not real race
I
cars?
don't know. But I think so. Sedan, always superior, except a compact. Right, flip him. No.
Yes, so this is all going to drop down from underneath. And we have my funky coilovers with camber tops and everything. So we'll be getting funky fresh real soon. That ass. Things that are aesthetic. E36 is jacked up in laneways with service mode bonnets. This is probably the first time this car's been worked on in like 6 years.
Probably. They're definitely original struts, I'll say that. Oh, my ears are ringing now. Always wear hearing protection or just like stand away.
You look like you just had an out-of-body experience.
It's still tight.
Good to know. Ooh, that's dusty. These bad boys. Ooh,
It's pretty haggard.
got some extra flavour, hasn't it?
It's not that much lower. Will be once we wind that fella down heaps though.
I mean, that's a fair amount.
Do you know, that much.
That's like an inch and a
60
half.
mil.
I think that's pretty decent.
Also, important thing for stock struts, just like over there, don't need them. You're never going to put them in again. Don't keep them like I usually do, just put them in the bin.
For sale, never thrashed.
Put these units in instead. This one does have the thing for the sway bar. That's the bracket I was talking about before.
Ah, yeah.
For some reason this car doesn't have that at all.
Because it's the best E36. It's better than all of them.
I guess.
It is the king. 318 is king. Are you a fan?
No, just trying to sell the bike. People messaging me like, hi, I live on an oil rig and I wish to purchase your vehicle. Like, oh yeah, you can ride Ducatis on an oil rig. Everyone knows that.
For sale, one loved owner, 600 SS Ducati. Marcassini wheels. Was it 1000 SS front struts?
Yeah.
Brembos?
Yeah, but I'm only going to sell it to you if you live on an oil rig.
And if you can only make 3 easy payments over the next 12 months.
Yeah, that's it.
And you can't talk on the phone.
Yeah, also if you're sending a courier to pick it up, I like it when you do that too. Please send me offers with that, like lots of them.
Yeah. And you'll only accept payment by a wire transfer.
No, I take WeChat and Venmo. My preferred options.
Yeah. So putting these coils in is essentially just reversal of the same process. Lob it in, thread it up through the top. Loosely put the nuts on just so it kind of hangs there in place while you tighten everything else up.
Where do I put them?
Good question.
Oh, I think they're in the socket thing.
They are.
Regards. Alright, top done. Throw the bottom in, and then you're done. Also note, if you really do care about your car, when you let the knuckle dangle, just keep something so it doesn't pull against the brake lines like this one is doing. But yeah, I don't really care.
Yeah, thanks Tom.
The coilover is too low to be able to just like hoot this up to make it line up, so you're gonna have to get like
another jack.
Yeah, jack or something like that.
Do you have another one there?
Yeah, I got a second one.
Oh, good.
So I'll go find that one and we'll get this sorted.
While Tom's away, I'll just show you. You can see on the back knuckle thing here, you can see there's 2 holes here for some bolts, and then one sort of stud bit here which kind of threads through the middle to line it up. And it's pretty simple, to be honest. Like, coilover installs on most of these sort of cars are very straightforward. Just a couple of bolts top and bottom. The only time you really run into any trouble is if things are bent, which fortunately on this car they're not. But if you do have a car that's, you know, been in an accident or there's something going on with the control arms or whatever, then you might have some trouble trying to get things lined up. But generally speaking, it's a very straightforward process.
Just got to be careful it doesn't fall on your hand like this is probably going to do.
Well, I can't drive you to the ER with my car in the air either, so
no, you
don't
can't.
fuck it up.
Oh, whatever. I'll just take the loss. So what I do for these is jack it up to the height, and then you get the bolt in the top because it's the easiest, and just slide him on through, because then that way it keeps it all kind of like together so you can get the other ones located. Don't do it tight, because if you do it tight then you can't really move it easily. So just like thread the nut on a couple turns, you're golden. And then you can just like and see how it's going to sit. In this case, low. Got him sitting in. I haven't torqued it up to spec because I don't torque things to spec. I do them so they don't fall off, but it's pretty easy. You just tighten it all. It's all dandy. Now we'll do the other side.
Several bad puns later.
Time to drop it down. We've got the wheels on both sides.
Front left's the same as the front right. You also do that with this too.
I just picked that up. Ooh.
You'll probably find that it's too low to get the jack out, like this one is, because the jack handle just comes out.
It looks good, but not low enough though.
It's not low enough. Front's pretty much done. It's time for the backs. First step on them, pull the boot insulation out so you can undo the top shock bolts, because they sit like there. You can undo those bolts so you can then jack it up and pull the shocks out, and also crack the wheels off. But these whack like fender cup things as well, pull them out of the road, and then you're bloody golden. There you go. Undo them completely, and then once you lift it up, they'll just like fall out the bottom. With them undone, wheels cracked. Jack it up. I usually put the jack under the diff on these because it's pretty secure. Really just get it up there. Nice and tall.
What are we doing next, Tomo?
Bottom shock bolt. The thing that controls the travel. If this fella is the shock being bolted up into the top, I just compress this one down. And then the bottom bolt there. Once you undo that, you can like wedge it down off that spring with a bit of assistance. It should just pop right out of there. Maybe with some spring compressors too, but it's kind of hard to get them in. So usually I just like stomp on that, see how much it droops, and then you can just like prang it out with a screwdriver. So there is,
Go now.
look how much flex there is in the upper arm bolt. Have a peep, like get him real close. How much that? Ooh, like that's pretty nasty. But away she goes. Look at that. It wants to come out. It wants to be lower. It's saying, please slam me to the ground, bend my chassis rails. I want it.
I didn't hear that.
So that's what we're gonna do. Always wear your safety boots too. I might actually have to use a spring compressor.
These aren't commoner 318i springs you're dealing with, Tomo. The 318IS springs.
Oh, that's why they're so difficult then. Why'd you get the... Well, geez, like,
It's factory lowered, mate.
you're bringing me difficult cars to work on.
I like to give you a challenge.
Well, life is a challenge for me. I need another flat blade.
Does that help? Yes. USA!
He wins. Now what you do, to really make your day exciting is one spring compressor and just like throw it really high in the air. Then you got to try and catch it when it lands, because if you don't catch it and this thing hits the ground, it's just going to go poing to the moon, probably kill you. So I might try it, but my house is a little close.
Safety announcement, do not do that.
No, do it. Trust me, it's like the metho thing I was saying earlier. Just drink it. With these perches, if you want to make it actually low, you take out this center section, just run the silver bit.
So I don't know if we said we got the front end, just kind of left it at the height that they came at. Probably not quite low enough, but it is lower than it was before. But my C-spanners that I have from my other coils in my S15 don't fit these coils. So I kind of was going to try and do like the punch method to just sort of punch it out with a hammer and a screwdriver, but couldn't be bothered. I've got to take them back out again sort of soon for E36 lower control arms and that, so I'll just lower them all when I do that. Throwing in the lowered shock now. So you just push it up through the top holes, feed in that bottom nut. We may have to jack up the bottom again.
Gonna have to jack it up heaps because there's nothing holding it. But look at, I think the preload's going to be pretty much right.
We also noticed one of my rear wheels was missing a wheel stud, so that was cool.
Yeah, this one's like real rusty. Hopefully the thread's still good in it, and that's not why it was missing it. True test to prove you're a real mechanic. Run the impact.
No, no.
No, I can do it. I'm really good. Look at that. Perfect. Like a ball one. And then just really just make sure of it.
You're not even tire patterning it.
Yeah, that's the tire pattern. It's like
Give it to me.
No, it's good.
You're gonna kill me.
You gotta learn to treat this thing like the shitbox it is, otherwise you'll be scared to drive it hard.
Yeah, but I don't want to die. I'm more scared now because you fucked my wheel studs.
No, you won't die because of fucking things only done up with an impact. That doesn't do the torque either. You gotta torque it properly with the wheel.
Ooh, that's low. It's tucking a little bit. Give it a little shake on the boot. Shake the boot a bit so it settles.
Higher than I thought it would.
Yeah, no, it lowered.
That's the handbrake on as well. Pop that e-brake.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, that gave it an extra ½ inch.
Nice.
So that's the rear.
That's how they should be.
And currently that's the front. The front's still a little bit high, but it is lower than it was.
Yeah.
When I get the right C-spanners, I'll adjust the front.
Tucking. Look at that.
Nice.
What a thick honey. That's how you fit coilovers. Don't do it like we did.
Yeah, no, this was really unsafe, eh?
It worked though. Can't deny results. Now, important thing, you got to torque your wheels to spec. There you go.
How many Newton meters are you set to, Tomo?
That is approximately not going to fall off Newton meters.
Nice.
One thing I would like to note, like on a serious matter, I always do wheels up with this, because when you blow a tyre on the side of the road, this is what you undo them with. If you do them up with some hectic rattle gun, you will never undo them with this, unless you like full jump on the end and you'll just like hurt yourself. So always, unless you have a hectic torque wrench that's actually calibrated, do them up with this until like it's nice and tight. Like that kind of thing is perfect, because it's not going to fall off, but you know that you can undo it. Because I've been stuck in that exact situation where tyre shop animals did things up to like 1 billion Newton meters and I couldn't undo it with this.
This is the factory wheel brace, if you're not sure what it is. BMW people will know, but if you've never seen one, that's why.
Oh yeah, true. I mean, honey, you should be watching this video if you have a BMW. If you don't have a BMW, go get one.
They might be thinking of buying one and they're curious to see what it's like.
Good.
It's great.
Do it.
Can confirm. This is my third one. I don't learn from my mistakes. That's what it tells me.
The first E30 I still have. The red parts car, the grey parts car, the second E30, driver, and now the 36. It's not an awful total.
Fat. That looks mad, dude.
Yeah, that looks sick, man.
Definitely needs like another inch in the front or so.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to run doors with it. Yeah,
Tomo has rewarded himself for the nutritious beverage.
Ice cold wild turkey, don't mind if I do. So I reckon he lower in the front, definitely. We didn't have the right spanners, because second-hand coilovers didn't come with the right C spanners.
Yeah, so some track and angle mods next probably.
Yeah. Pro tips on setup. I'm pretty sure this is how it should work. In the front, you go for E36 control arms, because it puts the camber out like there, sits fat, and these need more camber when you're drifting at decent angle as well. You run E90 inner tie rods, or rack ends as they're called, and that gives a little more steering angle as well. I'm gonna do the control arm bushes too, offset, so it gives it more caster, and then you flip the strut top, so instead of going in and out for camber, they go front to back for more caster again. Caster is the self-steering effect, so that when you're going sideways and you go to transition, you let go of the wheel and the car will just steer itself to where, you know, steer the front wheels to where it wants to be, and then you can just catch the wheel again.
Yeah, and I believe from an alignment perspective, it's how far forward it's angled, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
like
how it's like the struts. It's like that. More caster is like that.
Yeah.
So if you imagine like the
drag is increased and it makes it want to pull straight more.
The wheel wants to stand up, and
Yeah.
it wants to pull itself to, you know, to steer the car straight.
Yeah, it feels really nice. And I remember doing some wheel alignment adjustments with my other cars, playing with that kind of thing. I think the only downside is tire wear, really. That's why they don't come out of the factory like that.
Not necessarily.
Is it not?
Not really, no. Caster, if your camber is set right, extra caster will not affect how the tires wear. What it does affect is how hard it is to turn the wheel, and also
How aggressively it turns in.
yeah, to a degree, and also like the, you know, for regular people, if they, you know, go to park and like slightly let go of the wheel, if there's heaps of caster, it will like snap it back to upright if you're doing speed. So it can get harder to turn as well, which is, I assume, why they don't do it from production. But, you know,
Not care.
yeah, not care. Engineers
Yeah.
aren't drifters.
No,
That's, factory engineers know.
quite the opposite.
Yeah, the people who did this weren't drifters. No, they didn't like crashing cars into walls. Well, maybe they did. We don't know. I reckon that's about a wrap for this weekend.
Yep.
We'll see you next weekend with more really garbage car modifications. No, not right at all. Yeah.
Nice.
Got that stance, y'all.
Catch you later.
See, brah.
See you, bro.
What a ripper. $450. Christ. Ooh.